Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello, Danielle Mameri. Just wait. Gerda is coming in few seconds. Just wait for a few seconds. Gerda is coming in. She's connecting. Hi, Dri. Hold on. I will send an invite for her. She's coming in a few seconds. She's connecting right now. Let's see. Hi, Edna. She's connecting right now. She'll be live shortly. Hold on, please. Let's try again. Please be patient. She's coming in. Oh, hi, Gerda.
Hello! Yay!
That's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and sorry for the delay in connecting. I think the problem was on my side.
I'm really nervous to talk to you because you are such a legend for us. Oh my God, I
No,
heard on Instagram.
no nervousness needed.
She's my doctor, and Carol, she runs much faster than your dad.
Uh, maybe she can run with me and we can both show you.
Yeah. It will be fantastic. So let's start. How are you feeling on the eve of the Comrades Race the Legends?
I am very excited about tomorrow. Even though we're not all together in Pietermaritzburg or in Durban tonight, I'm still very excited to know that we will all still be running on the same virtual run.
And tomorrow you are running the half marathon, right?
Yes, that's correct. So I decided to run the 21 kilometers tomorrow. I'm currently in Dubai, and the weather, it is so crazily hot here at the moment. We are struggling, but therefore I thought maybe it's a good idea to only just do the 21 kilometers. And I will be joined by a few of my friends from here, so we will be enjoying the run.
So what time are you starting tomorrow in Dubai?
We will start at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, so we'll have an early start, just also to just beat the worst heat of the day.
What is the temperature in Dubai? It's over 30 degrees?
At the moment, yes, even some days over 40 degrees. So, and also very humid. So
unbelievable.
Very, very hot. Yeah, it's so crazy. But we know it works. It's good training. I'm not complaining. It's tough, but the training that you get here, it's good because I think it builds a lot of toughness.
That's great. And you spent part of the year living in Dubai, correct? That's because of your husband, I think.
Yes, that is correct. So my husband works here in Dubai. And normally in no COVID times, I would spend time in Dubai in between races. So when I'm having off time, etc., I will spend some time in Dubai. And also in winter time here, it's good. I don't mind training here in the winter. But normally this time of year, I would be in South Africa.
Just a curiosity that I think we are almost 100 people watching us right now. A curiosity. You said you are running tomorrow in your Conrad pace. What is this pace you are running tomorrow, the half marathon?
Tomorrow half marathon. So last year my comrades pace was just over 4 minutes per kilometer. I think it was maybe 4 minutes and 7 seconds per kilometer.
Oh,
So if I was going to do the down run, I will definitely have had to run a little bit quicker than that. But last year it was 4:07. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the humidity is okay tomorrow, and I will attempt that pace.
oh, fantastic! That's simply crazy for us to hear that a woman can run in such this pace during on the Comrades Up run. It was fantastic. So I have lots of questions to do, Gerda. Now we are 80 almost 80 people watching us right now. So you improved incredibly fast from being a recreational runner to a professional one until you got your first win in the Two Oceans 2 years ago, 2018. It's incredible because I could follow you up on Instagram, and I saw when you were. I have some results of your here. I saw when you got 4th place in 2017 on the Comrades. So please tell us how you started running, how it started at all, and what were your age at that time when you realized that you could be a phenomenal runner.
Before I start, I must just say, if my connection drops, just don't worry. I'll just reconnect again. It won't be a problem. So if it drops, you're not lost. I'm not lost. I will just reconnect.
Okay.
So yes, my running started very late in my life. I moved to Dubai in 2014. And when I moved to Dubai, I was running a little bit, but only recreational. So maybe 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers let's say every second, third day. So just a little bit jogging on my own, nothing competitive. During my school years also, I was never an athlete, and I was just never, it wasn't my interest. And I really liked running, but I never found a talent, or I never had the speed to run on the track. So it wasn't a big part of my life at all. But in 2014, I was 24 years old, and I moved to Dubai for a job as a quantity surveyor, so building industry, also nothing to do with running. But only a few months
Sorry,
after,
what industry you said?
It is construction. So
okay.
I was doing like building yes, quantity surveying. So like cost engineering.
Okay,
yes.
I work with my company works with this. Yes, I have a consultancy company and engineer, so we perform this kind of job as well.
So that is it. Then you know a little bit about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I was doing. Studied for that. But when I moved here, only a couple of months later, I met some runners in Dubai from a running club. And funny enough, the expats here, the runners, they were all going on about Comrades Marathon. And they were just asking, but you are a South African, why don't you run the Comrades Marathon? And at that stage, I promise you, I didn't even know what distance is a marathon. I was not in the running community, so I had no idea what it would mean. But as a young girl, I used to watch Comrades with my family every year. We would wake up very early in the morning to watch this big spectacular race on live television, because that was such a big day it's just part of the, can I say, almost part of the culture in South Africa. As you all know, that's been to South Africa. So I didn't think that I would run Comrades, anyway, not that early, but I knew everything about it. But it only took me a couple of months when I started running to see really a lot of improvement. And the runners here that I met knew everything, and they helped me a lot. And
your connection is not too good. Hold on, Gerda.
Okay.
Let's see if the connection improves, because it's not so good right now.
Okay.
I think you are back now, because your connection was
better?
a little bit. Yeah, now it's better.
Okay, sorry about that. So yes,
no problem.
only took me a few months of training and correct training to really improve. And that was in October when I met the group. And that next year, 2015 January, I ran my first marathon. And already then I knew the bug bit me already. So
what was your finishing time?
My finishing time was 3 hours and 11 minutes.
Oh, that's crazy.
So then they said, my friend said, you have B seating for comrades. You can't let it go. So I thought, okay, it sounds good. I will sign up for comrades. So that is where it all started. And in 2015, I ran my first comrade. It was also an up run. And my time was 8 hours and 19 minutes.
Yes, okay.
So
And you got the 56th position, right?
that is correct, yes, 56. And I was really delighted about it. I mean, I was so new to running and now I already finished comrades. So, but still that time it was just still for social. It wasn't, I wasn't thinking about being serious or being a professional athlete at that time. But as the time went on, I recovered from comrades and I then trained for a marathon to run under 3 hours. And in the same year, I managed to run only just under 3 hours with a few seconds to spare. But that is when it started. So it's a short period of time, but so much has happened in the meantime.
Just a question. On the following year, your first year in 2015, your position was 56. On the following year was 14. When you are 14, you are very close to the top 10. So at that stage, you already knew that you could improve a lot to be a champion like you are today.
That year when I was 14th, I tried to I aimed for the top 10. So by then I already met Nick Bester, who is my coach from Nedbank. So I already met him and he started training me and he believed that I can do top 10 if it's a good year, if everything turns out right for me. But it was very early for me and I think I just had a lot more to learn. So I was 14th and again, it was like I was happy with 14th because it was a huge improvement from the previous year. But it wasn't the top 10 that I wanted.
Just to say, your finishing time was 7 hours and 8 minutes.
That's correct. Yes, 7 hours and 8 minutes. And I knew that I tried to go. I knew that if I get near 7 hours, maybe just under 7 hours, I might make the top 10. But it was good enough for 14th on that day.
Just one question from my friend Zilma Rodriguez. She asked, being so young, what is not usual among ultra runners? What made you choose this kind of competition to run ultra runners, given that normally people older than you practice this?
Yes, it is always a question that I regularly get. Like, I didn't come from a speed background. I missed all of those years almost as a young athlete. So I never had the track experience and the short distance experience. And it just so happened that I started with ultras because that is the group of people that I met and their interest was at Comrades Marathon. So I think I almost like naturally just decided to do Comrades and give it a go very early on after starting my running passion. So I think it's maybe with a little bit of luck and maybe it was just how it was meant to be. But it's also very interesting because nowadays, like, I think that the marathon distance for me is just as exciting. So of course, Comrades is always number one on my list, but I am also very excited about seeing what I can do and how much more I can improve on the marathon.
Yeah, I saw last year. I was watching on TV the New York City Marathon. It was a good emotion to see the start of the race, and you were on the front pack, trying to keep the pace of the leaders. But after few miles, actually, the leaders were incredibly fast, and you got a phenomenal result, getting 11th place. Correct?
Yes, that's correct. I only missed the top 10 with a few seconds.
Yeah, but it was phenomenal anyway. 2 hours, 27 minutes, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, fantastic. So next year, other than the New York City Marathon, have you ever run any other majors such as Boston, London, Berlin?
I haven't done any of the other major marathons, but I have done a few other marathons abroad. I've done the Dublin Marathon and the Nice Marathon. So Dubai Marathon as well. So I've done other overseas marathons, but no other of the majors. And I
Okay.
do think that New York Marathon, it's so close to my heart, and I
Yeah,
love that
yeah, yeah,
race. But I
yeah,
would
yeah.
also love to run something like Berlin, where I know it's fast and flat, to really see what I can do
Cool.
with
Yeah,
regards to my.
Berlin. I ran Berlin last year. It was my first Berlin marathon. Just fantastic race. You're gonna love it.
Oh,
The New York City Marathon I've done twice in 1998 and
wow.
2000. It's a
Oh,
world-class
wow.
marathon.
It's
And now
amazing.
I'm officially inviting you to come to Brazil to run a marathon over here in our country.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I would love to do
We would love to
that.
have you here and to do some talks and to tell my. I have some friends. I can't mention their names now because they are much faster than me. Camila Pontes, Adriana Schwartz, Edna Evelyn, Paula Gama, and Marina Penteado, just to mention a few. I would love to see you having just a short training session with them, just for them to feel what I feel when I run with them.
Oh, sure. I would love to do that. It would be my pleasure. I think I remember some of the names that you've mentioned because I know with comrades last year we were also talking to them on the phone. Adriana, I
Yes,
remember.
Camila,
Yes,
Adriana and Camila.
and Camila, that's
Uh,
correct.
they both ran the New York City Marathon last year, but sadly they couldn't match you at the Central Park 2 or 3 days before
With the
the race.
timing,
Yeah. But anyway,
well, hopefully.
hopefully soon they will meet you to have a photo and to talk to you a little bit. So,
Exactly. Hopefully soon we'll be back to the racing as we know it.
Gerda, you mentioned that when you moved to Dubai, you were working with this kind of engineer consultancy, but by now you are 100% 24/7 professional athlete.
Yes, that is correct. So in 2017, I decided to quit my job, my office job. It wasn't so much at that stage that I felt I'm in a position to already be a professional athlete, but I felt like it is a chance that I have to take. So if I'm not making the decision now, I probably won't ever make it to the top. And that is how I saw it. I needed time during the day to number one, to train more. Number two, to recover better, to sleep better, and to just be focused on it.
Yeah.
There was no chance for me to do my job only 50% in the office. It's not that kind of job. So I decided to give it a try. The good thing for me was that I always had something to go back on. It's always there. I could always return back to the office, but it was the best decision that I've ever made in my life. And
Yeah.
in the beginning, it was quite tough because very shortly after I quit my job, I had quite a bad injury. And then I really started to consider whether I did the right thing or not. But like any injury, it healed up quickly. And since that day, I've not looked back once. And it's just changed my entire life. And now I'm fortunate enough to make a complete career out of it and be a full-time professional runner.
Fantastic. Just so we are just now with 104 people watching us, and there is a question of a person named, let's see, CV Hirden. I'm not sure what's the name. Is there any plans for you to do a triathlon again, Gerda?
It's quite an interesting question because I was literally talking about it this morning. I said to my husband, if all the races are cancelled, I can always just do another triathlon. So I would love to do an Ironman or a half Ironman to start with. And yes, definitely, the answer is definitely yes. I would love to do another one. It's just finding the time, and especially times like this where everything is a bit uncertain, it might just be the opportunity to do something like that, to choose something different because everything is just upside down. But we'll have to see in the future what will happen. Probably not in the near future, as in the next few months. If I attempt an Ironman or a half Ironman, I will want to give it a really good crack at it, and I want to be in good shape for it, to try and compete. So that will take a little bit of time for me to just still learn and get more used to swimming and cycling as well.
Cool.
But yes, the answer is definitely yes.
Fantastic. So now I have to, you have to accept my apologies for the expression I'm going to use, because last year you not only broke the record, you simply smashed the fucking previous record in over 10 minutes. The question is,
Oh, thank you.
in what stage of the Comrades Up run last year did you realize that you were about to win, and not only this, to smash the previous record?
Last year Comrades Marathon, if I think back at that race, it was one of those days where everything just played well for me. And I knew from the beginning, I knew the morning when I woke up, I knew it.
Oh, that's cool.
Something would have had to go terribly wrong for me not to do it that day. And I knew that. And it is a scary thought because I can't say it because nothing is certain until you've done it. But I knew it. And as the race started, I tried to hold back a little bit, and I promised my coach that I won't be going for a certain pace until halfway. But I looked at my watch every other kilometer, and I knew that I was already on record pace when I got to the halfway mark. And by then, I've already also opened a comfortable gap between me and the ladies behind me, which was comforting in a way. There was
But
not the panic of
there
the
was
race.
somebody, sorry, there was somebody else informing you how far they were behind you, or you were watching, looking backwards?
Yes, no one was ahead of me anymore. I was already leading at the halfway
No, the
mark.
question is, sorry, the question is was there anybody else informing you that the other competitors was much behind?
Yes, I had a team from Nedbank, and also Duncan, my husband. I saw him regularly on the route, and they informed me about giving me a more or less an idea how big the gap was. And in the
Cool.
beginning, it started with it's a 4-minute gap, and then it increased to 6 minutes, etc., etc.
That's a lot.
So I had a fairly good idea where I was in the field, which helps it helps a lot because it just takes that pressure off me. I knew I had to just focus on myself and get my own body from point A to point B in the quickest possible way. So it was good, and halfway into the race, I knew if I just continue what I'm doing, I'll already break the record. But always the winning was my first goal, winning the race. Last year, 2018, I was second place, and I wanted to improve on that. I wanted that win. So breaking the record was second on my list. I was just already so fortunate thinking about I will already get my second goal. And then as I got really close to the finish, I looked at my watch and I saw that sub 6 hours will be possible. If I really give it now everything, I had to dig so deep. And yes, I made it just with a minute and a bit to spare.
Oh, that's simply awesome, fantastic. When I finished much after you, long time after you, when I finished and they told me that you not only won but broke the record, it was simply amazing. Do you mind to show us your gold medal?
I have got it ready for you. So the gold medal that I won is in a frame that I've just hung up, but I've got the real gold medal here, which I'm dead for top 10 position, and I'll try my best to show to everyone. There we go.
That's so amazing. This is real gold, right?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah,
I think you can see it.
Incredible. Fantastic.
Yes, so it is really something that I will treasure for the rest of my life. It's a very generous and beautiful gift from Comrades, so it's very special.
Yeah. You wrote your name on the history of this amazing race forever. Yeah, it's and so.
Yes, and also what is so special for me is knowing being from there and knowing that race since I was a little girl. I remember watching that race when Nick Bester and Bruce Fordyce was running, and the Russian twins, and I was just a young girl watching this amazing race and thinking, how do these people run the Comrades Marathon? And now I can say I'm the winner of the Comrades Marathon. It's really something that I will never forget in my entire life, and it's just made such a big change in my life and in my family's life and everybody who knew me before I even started running. Some people cannot believe it, and they're all just so happy for me, and they all feel like they have got a part in this, which makes it very, very special.
Yeah. It's really amazing. I feel emotional just listening to you right now. Sorry for that. I'm talking about the down run, the fifth Van der Merwe incredible finish time of 5 hours, 54 minutes, and 43 seconds. Do you think you are able to break this record, this down run record?
I think, especially missing out this year, I can tell you I will have a spark in me next year that it just needs to come out. I will be so excited, and I'm hoping to use that. But I thought we talk about the record often. I discuss it with my coach and with my husband, and we talk about it. And if you look at Fred van der Merwe, she just stood out head and shoulders above her competition. She was in incredible shape, and what is remarkable and what is different to her is she was in the best shape of her career when she broke that record. And I think that if me or anyone else wants to break the Comrades Down Run record, you need to be in that sort of shape. It means on the marathon you need to be able to run 2 hours 25, even quicker, and be able to and have natural endurance. And I think that is what it will take to be the Comrades Down Run record holder. I will most definitely be trying my utmost best to be in the right shape to take that on. But standing from the outside looking in, that is what I think you need to be at if you wanted to go for the record.
Yeah, and Gerda, currently, who do you consider your major competitors? Camille, Heron, and Ashworth, or Caroline Wostman? Which ones?
Yes, of course, there's strong ladies at the moment. I think Comrades Marathon is experiencing a time where the women is really rising, and a lot of South African competition, like you say. And Ashworth is a very, very strong athlete. She's incredible, and she's run that down run in 2018 like amazingly. So
Yes.
she's definitely competition. But we've got a lot of other competition as well now coming from Alexandra Morozova, who has got 2 podium positions already. There is also Catherine Jones from Ireland, and Katrina Jennings from Canada. There's also other South African ladies that's really, really strong and showing their passion for this amazing race as well. So I'm excited, and I think it's great for the race and for competition to have stronger competition is what you need to have such a prestige race. And it's great to see a lot of ladies rise like that.
Yeah, fantastic. Now talking about your training plan, do you have who is your coach? Is Nick Bester?
That is correct, yes. So
Okay.
Nick Bester is my coach. Yeah.
No, sorry. Just continue on the question. The point I want you to explore. How is your training schedule on the build up to the Comrades, and what's the weekly average mileage you have?
So every year is slightly different. Last year differed to the year before that in a way that Comrades Marathon and Two Oceans Marathon was very close, put close to each other. There was only 6 weeks apart. So every year I have to adapt my training slightly to just fit in with the race schedule or the calendar. But for instance, for Comrades Marathon, I would aim to peak about a month before the race to have my highest mileage and my highest long run about a month before the race. So I would have a build up towards the highest point and then sort of drop down a little bit again. But that's in kilometers, but I would keep the intensity high. So I would shorten my distances, but still definitely keep the intensity high. Do a lot of fast running, track running, tempo runs, etc. So yes, that is what my running calendar looks like, my running program. But I aid it with a lot of cross training, and I feel like that is my secret weapon. I don't just run every day.
Cool.
I run every day, but I don't only run in a day. I do a lot of cycling as well, and hiking and gym exercise, whatever I can find to make sure that my entire body is strong. So, for instance, I would rather focus on how many hours of training I would do in a day rather than to look at my kilometers in a day, because that is a more indicator for me.
But if you transform the miles on the week, how many kilometers in the week do you run? 150,
Um,
120, 100? How much? How many?
yes, it will be between 120 and 150 in a normal
Oh,
week. So
okay.
it's not, some people run 100 kilometers more than me in a week, but I feel like keeping my mileage lower, but my cross training higher is more effective for me.
That's fantastic. And what is your longest run on the build up to the Comrades?
So for this last year, for instance, Two Oceans Marathon was my longest run.
Okay,
So
yeah,
56 kilometers,
same as me.
but that's correct, yes.
Yeah.
So that worked well, but I have done a 60-kilometer training run in the past as well, which was then obviously longer than Two Oceans. But I think that Two Oceans, if you do Two Oceans in the same year as Comrades, it's more than enough.
No, yeah. When I had my best time in the Comrades, the longest training session I had, it was the Two Oceans. Actually, it
Yes,
was
exactly.
9 years ago. It was the Two Oceans. It's a fantastic training for the build up to the Comrades.
Of course it is, and also it often falls right within the right timing as well to train for the Comrades Marathon. But also a funny story that I'm just thinking about now. After in 2017, when I had an injury, I had to miss out on the Two Oceans Marathon. So I was on crutches during the time of the Two
Oh,
Oceans
really?
Marathon, and yes, I could not train, but I then thought that Comrades Marathon will also be out. I will not have a chance to line up for Comrades Marathon. So I wasn't doing running at all. But it was about 6 weeks before the race that I started to be able to run again. And I slowly built up. And two weeks before the race, I phoned my coach and I said, I think that I will be able to run. And by then, I've not done many long runs at all. I did only 32 kilometers and 40 kilometers. And then he said to me, do one more run of 40 kilometers. And that is 2 weeks before the Comrades Marathon.
Oh,
And that year, I finished in 4th position.
that's
So
fantastic.
it just shows that
Yeah,
it is not often the people who do the longest long run.
yeah, yeah.
It was purely cross training that got me to the finish. And that is where I learned how to keep your entire body fit and not just thinking about the kilometers that's behind you.
Yeah, so fantastic. Another question from my friend Zilma. Do you have any day off on your week or no day off at all?
I don't often take rest days, complete rest days. I would have a rest day sometimes in a week, but I don't take one rest day every week. For instance, it's not always that Monday is a rest day, but I have days where I have, of course, very easy running. So,
Oh, okay.
and I would
What's
sometimes make
what's an easy running for the Comrades champion?
no, very easy, 50 minutes,
What's the
just
pace?
jogging, 5 minutes per kilometer.
Very easy. So
Yeah.
you performed very well last year on the New York City Marathon. What you consider the major differences from the training for a standard marathon to the training for the Comrades Marathon?
There is some differences in the training. For a standard marathon, I would focus more on short distance track sessions. I would, yes, increase the speed and decrease the distance, and just focus on getting really fast on 10 kilometers and 5 kilometers as well. But in the big picture stays the same. I follow the same training routine. I do a long run every 10 days and 2 track sessions in a week and a tempo run. So I follow the same pattern, but we just adjust the paces and of course the intensity. I think that is what is important. For a marathon, I need more speed, but I do believe that you still need speed for the Comrades Marathon as well. So therefore, I don't do too many I don't just forget about speed when I'm training for the Comrades Marathon. I still do my speed sessions. They would just be longer intervals and longer rest times in between the intervals. So that is the main difference between the two.
Okay. During the Comrades, what do you eat? Only carbogel or something else?
Yes, mainly carbohydrates, high carbohydrate gels, and also a high carbohydrate energy drink as well. And it works for me. My stomach takes it easily. I have used potatoes as well that I just got off the root, and bananas, which was also fine for me. I am fortunate enough that with the Nedbank Running Club, they give us our personalized bottles every 10 kilometers. So that helps a great deal. I can make it the night before and I know what I'm getting. But if you don't have that, you can't have seconding support en route. I think there's plenty of carbohydrates to have on the route itself, and potatoes can often be just as good as an energy gel or an energy drink.
Okay, still talking about your nutrition, my friend Miguel Neto from Cape Town, he's asking, how much does nutrition play a role in your training and racing?
It is, of course, a very important role. You need to feel your body correctly and sufficiently to be able to handle the load. It goes far beyond just what I take during a race. It is what I eat every day and every day and every night. So it is definitely a very important role that it plays. But it's hard sometimes. You have to figure out what works for you, and that can often take a long time. And what works for one person doesn't necessarily work
Yes.
for the next. So it can be tricky, and I do understand that, but it is not impossible. And the human body is amazing. It adapts,
Yes.
and if it
Correct.
needs to, it works. It will work for you. So
Yeah.
I try to not overcomplicate my nutrition. I try to keep it simple, keep it pure, and keep it natural. And just make sure that even when I land in a crisis time, I'm not too picky as to what I can take and what I can't take. I try to toughen my gut system to not fall short in a crisis situation.
Yeah, correct. Great to hear that. And I would like to speak discuss, have a little discussion about your your environmental consciousness, because as far as I know, and when I saw a footage of the comrades, every time you get a carbogel or water or energy aid, you drink it and you throw it into a plastic bin, into a bin, or you keep it with you in your body to throw in a bin. In the next bin you follow on the route. Is that correct?
Yes, that is absolutely correct, Naito, and I think that is something that every runner out there can do. There's no need
Yes.
for us to throw our papers and plastic around. It breaks my heart to see
Yes.
after a race so many rubbish lying around in a beautiful country like that. It
Yeah.
breaks my heart, and I do think that it's very unnecessary. I love the fact that we get plastic water sachets. I think it's very handy, and it doesn't spill as much as a cup, normally a paper cup would do. So I think I love the fact that we get the plastic bags, but I think it is a great responsibility that rests upon each and every runner's shoulders to make sure we don't just throw it around. There's bins everywhere. There's
Yes.
plentiful
Yes.
bins, and it really costs nothing. And also, the most important, it will not make you run slower if you have to throw
Correct.
it into a bin. So I do
Correct.
believe that every runner can do that, and I
Yeah.
really want to encourage that.
Congratulations for your phenomenal example, and thank you so much for doing this and teaching us what to do and how to do, because everybody can do exactly the same what the Comrades champion does. So
No, thank you, Nate.
I do the same when I am running. I keep the rubbish with me on my hand to throw in a bin as soon as I find it.
Brilliant.
And moreover, I can say your country is simply amazing, phenomenal. What a place to visit! What a place to see! What a people, warm people, and so lovely to. I've been visiting. Sorry, I visited South Africa for 20 times so far, and
Oh wow, that's
yeah, 20
amazing.
times. I can say that your country is my second land, my second
Well,
nation.
I must say the same to the Brazilian runners that come to Comrades every year. It is just incredible. I don't think the same spirit will be at Comrades if it wasn't for the Brazilian runners. You guys are awesome. And I know also with tomorrow's race, the Legends run, you are by far the highest numbers for international runners to enter this race. So
Yeah.
yeah, big applause to all of you. You are our brothers in arms, and we cannot host a race without the spirit of the Brazilian runners.
Thank you so much. And by now we are over 1,500 Brazilians on the Legends tomorrow.
Oh, that's so good to hear. I love
Yeah.
that. And I'll be thinking of all of you when I'm running also tomorrow.
Thank you so much. So now let's move the conversation to another very important point I would like to hear from you. Let's talk about racism. You being a white champion in countries such as South Africa, how do you feel regarding racism, not only in South Africa, but all over the world? And more than that, I noticed that you are using your Amabidi necklace,
Yes,
such as me. Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah, I love it. And please tell me a little bit about what are your feelings about the racism, what is going on, not only in South Africa, but in the United States regarding George Floyd. And you being a white champion, as I said, you give an example to everybody. So tell us a little bit about this.
Yes, it's a great, it's such a big thing going on in the world right now, such a big movement and so many protests and really sad things to see. Like you say, in America, there's a big crisis at the moment, and it is really sad to see. Like you say, as a white champion, it is a matter. It is a matter worldwide at the moment. But I think I'm very, very proud of the fact that I'm one of the children of the Rainbow Nation. South Africa, for example, has been through many, many stages of racism, and we have had many challenges in the past, even big challenges before I was even born. And when I was a little child, I think we've moved through a lot of phases of racism. And I'm very proud to say I'm part of the Rainbow Nation. And for me, it's nothing to do with skin color. Running in South Africa also, also such a symbol of coming together and running as one. And it's a pleasure to run with each and every race, right, from people from every racial community, because when we're on the road, you're the same. It doesn't mean anything, and that teaches us something in life as well. It doesn't, what goes inside isn't controlled by the color of your skin. And I think that running, a sport like running, can teach that to the whole world, what it means to come together as one, regardless of the color of your skin.
Yes, correct. 100% agreed. Thank you so much for what you said. So just one question, very important. Actually, it's so funny what I'm going to say to you. One of my friends, she is watching us right now. Her name is Zilma Rodriguez. She is a Comrades green number holder with 12 medals.
Wow.
And she told me, she told me that her mother said to her, "Do you want to be pretty woman or to go to the podium?" And Zilma said to me, the funny thing is that you, Gerda, you are both. You are pretty and you are the champion.
No. I will take the podium 100 times over.
So it's really, people are loving the Instagram live you are having just now, and you are such a special person to talk to. And this conversation, we have a limit of 60 minutes on Instagram. But if it was allowed, we could spend hours speaking with you and having this conversation, because it's so pleasure to be with you talking about the Comrades and such other things.
Well, it is same for me. Sometimes some people say, "You must be so tired of talking about Comrades," and the answer is always, "I will never get tired. Never." You can give me as long as you want. So.
By the way, is it your first Instagram live, or have you done this before?
No, I've not done this before, so it's a first for me. I've done now Zoom and
Fantastic.
Skype and all the other ones, but this is a first for me, so it's a
That's
great
fantastic.
pleasure.
Yeah, and all the Brazilians are so proud to have you talking with us and having this conversation with the Brazilian running community right now.
Oh, no, it's always a pleasure. You guys are awesome.
Somebody asked if you plan to do a 100 miles race any time or not.
100-mile race at the moment for me, I'm more thinking about going shorter. So I think one day I will do 100 miles, but I don't see it happening in the near future. If I would do 100 miles, I think something that really attracts me is something like the Ultra Trail Mont Blanc, UTMB. Maybe that it's something spectacular as well, and it's so special in its own way, and it's in a unique way. But for the moment, I think I will stick to 90-kilometer maximum and shorter.
Yeah, yeah, correct. And when you train, we follow you on Instagram. You do many of your trainings at some stage of the build up to the Comrades on the mountains of France, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So do you go there because of the altitude, the lack of oxygen, what or the up and down hills? What's the reason for you to train there?
Yes, a little bit of everything. My husband Duncan, we have a house in the Alps, so it's a chalet, and it's actually meant to be a ski chalet. But we go there so many times in the summer because it's just an incredible training ground. So we are fortunate it is at a high altitude, which helps for fitness. And yes, so it's all the benefits of the altitude. Plus, it is our own house, so it is amazing. We go there as much as we possibly can in between racing and his work, of course. So that is the main reason why we choose to go to France. And we are hoping in the future to spend even more time there. But yes, of course, now everything is restricted. And even during this time, we cannot get there even with all the borders being shut. So I would have loved to be there even now. I'm enjoying the mountains and just hiking and being far away from everything. So unfortunately, we can't be there at the moment, but that is why we spend a lot of time in France.
And how high is there? Over 2,000 meters?
So our house is at 1,600 meters, but the mountains are like over 3,000. So you can go so high. Some of the mountain tops never lose the snow. It's like ice glaciers throughout the year. So it's really, really high. You can go so high, as high as you want, really. And then also the other place that I like to go to train in the mountains is in Lesotho, which is the little country
I know,
in the
surrounded by
heart
South
of South
Africa.
Africa.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That is right. So that is at 3,200 meters, which is so high. It is severe altitude. So I often use that as well, incorporate shorter periods of time in Lesotho to get really, really high altitude training.
And when you are in such a places like France and very, remote, far from the big cities, who is seconding you on the training sessions? Your husband?
Yes, mostly my husband, but fortunately in France it's safe. I never feel in danger there, anything. I've also had some friends there that train with me. I was there on training camp last year before Comrades Marathon with two friends from Britain. Steve Way was third in the Comrades Marathon in 2018, and Anthony Clark will have had his first Comrades Marathon last year, but unfortunately he couldn't. So that was great company to have because it was strong guys, and we spent almost a month there training together. So there's always someone, there's so many great runners around just in our small village as well. It's easy to just find someone, but mostly my husband, he either runs with me or he even supports me on the bikes.
Yeah, because I was asking not thinking about any danger, but thinking about giving some hydration or water,
yes.
Gatorade. That's the point.
Yes, by far mostly my husband. Yes.
Okay. So there is
yes.
a lady today, given that you are having this Instagram live with you as such a phenomenal Comrades winner. The questions I'm gonna say to you is only from the ladies, okay, not from the guys. So there is a lady. Her name is
Okay.
her name is Melissa Lube, 20.
Yes.
She's asking you, are you Africans or not?
Afrikaans. Yes, I
Afrikaans, sorry.
am.
Afrikaans, sorry.
Yes, I am Afrikaans. That is my home language. So she will know the Free State is where I grew up on a farm.
The
So my parents
Bloemfontein,
are
is it in Bloemfontein? Right.
near Bloemfontein, same
Okay.
province.
Hello. I think the connection is not good now. Hello, Gerda? Hello. Let's wait for a while. Hello. Hold on, I'm gonna invite her again. Hold on. She told us that her connection could be not so good at some stage, so she must be back soon. Just waiting for Herda. She must be back soon. Hold on. Okay. Thank you, Edna. She must be connecting right now. We have about 8 to 9 minutes still. Let's wait for a few seconds. She must be back shortly. She's trying to connect to her. Be patient, please. The conversation was simply phenomenal. Let's see. Let's try again. Hold on. Let's see. She must be back soon. Just connecting. Ah, okay, now you're back.
Yay, I'm back.
Okay, thank you. So you are talking about you are African, right? You are born near Bloemfontein.
Yes, that is in the same province as Bloemfontein. So I grew up on the farm and I spent my entire childhood there on the farm. And yes, I'm just from I am Afrikaans.
Oh, fantastic! And your home language is Afrikaans.
Yes, that's correct. But I learned English from a very young age. So I've always been able to speak English, but of course, my second language.
No, that's fantastic. So I'm not sure if you know, but I did the Unaguaja challenge twice. Do you know what it is?
The
Unaguaja challenge is the challenge from it's what a former Commonwealth champion did in 1933. He cycled from Cape Town to Pietermaritzburg in 10 days and run the Comrades on the following day. So
oh my goodness, that's so crazy.
Yes, it's really crazy. 1,650 Ks, nearly 1,700 Ks in 10 days cycling, and then running the Comrades on the 11th days. I did it twice.
That can't be easy. That's amazing.
That's how I really realized how beautiful your country is. It's simply amazing to cycle through the mountains and through the desert. What's the name of the Karoo?
Yes.
Karoo.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Beautiful,
there's so much to see, so much differentiation, and so many different landscapes. It's quite something, and especially if you can see it like that on a bicycle, it must be just amazing.
Okay, just one question from Lena. How do you explain you have such a phenomenal results as an ultra marathon runner, but not top 3 as a marathon runner worldwide? I mean.
Yes, that is an interesting question. I think at the moment the ultra marathons is what I'm focusing on. I think if I had to choose to only focus purely on marathon training and marathon running year in and year out, it might have been different. But for me personally, I don't see my career without Comrades Marathon and Two Oceans Marathon. That's what I decide, and that's what I focus on. And I think that's just the wolf that you feed is the wolf that will grow. So I think it's just that. Also, of course, my career started off with the ultras. So marathon running, focusing on getting my marathon times faster was obviously only came in a little bit later, and I am still working on it. So it is
Oh,
very
cool.
exciting for me. Yes, it is very, very exciting. But
Since
at the moment,
I'm sorry. Just one of the ladies asked, you qualified for the Olympics, correct? Are you running the
that's
Olympics
correct.
to next year or not?
I was planning on running it this year, so that would have been this year's plan, but of course it is now been postponed to next year. But to be honest, I think that there is still a lot of uncertainty around next year's
Yeah,
Olympic
yeah,
marathon and Olympic Games.
yeah.
I'm not putting a certain mark on it to say that I'm
Okay,
100% going to do it. I
okay.
don't want to miss Comrades next year. And I think we'll have to see if it goes ahead. It will be an option, but I
Yeah.
think everything is just so uncertain at the moment still.
Okay, okay. So we are very few minutes to the finish. I would like to just, it's a little joke with a friend of mine. His name is Cracra. He lives in the southern of Brazil.
Okay,
As I said, his name is Cracra, and I would ask you to repeat with me. Vamos embora.
vamos embora.
Yes. Fantastic.
What does that mean? What it means?
It means like let's go together, something like that. Let's go
Oh,
together. Vamos embora
awesome.
in Portuguese. Fantastic. You're gonna
Vamos
love it.
embora.
Vamos embora. Thank you so
No,
much.
awesome.
So Heather, once again, we are a couple of minutes to the end. Once again, you are officially invited to come to Brazil and to meet these lovely and warm people in our beautiful country as well, and to run a marathon or a half marathon, whatever. So afterwards, let's keep in contact to organize perhaps for next year. We organize everything for you, the entry, the flights, the accommodation, everything. So let's keep in
Oh,
contact, and
that is.
I organize. People will get excited to have the Comrades champion here in our country.
Oh, what a heartwarming invitation. Thank you so very, very much. It will be an honor for me.
Thank you so much. So just to finalize, I would like to hear from you, your final message for the Brazilians, for the South Africans, for the world, a lot of watching. Give your final message. Give a final message for the Brazilians, and then you finish the live.
My final message for everyone running tomorrow is just number one, purely to go out there and have a little bit of fun. Don't worry about anything other than just having fun. Know when you're running alone or in a small group that you are part of a much bigger cause and a much bigger field of runners. There's already more runners signed up for tomorrow than the size of the actual Comrades run. So I think if you just keep that picture in your mind, the picture of the start line, and know that it's probably going to be double the size of that. It's an amazing thing that we are part of, and of course we cannot be together at the moment, but next year will be even better, and I'm really looking forward to seeing every one of you there. And like I said before, it will just be doubly as excited as we would have been.
Gerda, thank you so much. It means a lot for us, for the Brazilian running community. I'm really thrilled to have you live on Instagram with me. It really means a lot. I will never forget this day. And so enjoy your run tomorrow, and chat to you soon, okay? Thank you so much. I will finalize the
Thank you
session right
so
now.
much. We'll talk again soon. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao. Bye. Thanks.
Ciao.